Hey everyone, my name is Murad, and my life is an irony. Now, I'm not here to give you a diet plan, a business plan, or a motivational speech. Why is my life an irony? So I run these dessert shops where I sell desserts all day, every day. I get very excited about creating new desserts every week. But sadly, I can never consume those desserts because I happen to be diabetic. Now, food has been something that I'm very passionate about. It's been the center of my life. But also, food is something that I'm absolutely scared of. And I'm also a chef. Trigger
अच्छा लास्ट
warning,
में बोलोगे
I, as a chef, suffer from an eating disorder, which is bulimia. Now, before coming here, I was very nervous. I still am. Like right now, my insides are completely frozen. But I did not want to lose out on the chance of having this talk today, having this very important dialogue, this idea that I want to present in front of you guys, the idea that if I didn't implement it on myself, I wouldn't even be alive today. So, thank you. I'm not here to talk about the known things about me, that I started earning a lot of money at a young age, or that I run a successful business, or even that I lost a lot of body weight. But I am here to give you some perspective, a reality check. Maybe this reality check can actually help you guys in the bettering of your life. I'm going to talk about something that's the complete epicenter of our lives. As Pakistanis, and especially Lahoris, we invest in it daily. It's our love language. It's food. So the topic that I've chosen for today is food and capitalism versus moderation and skepticism. So Ramadan just passed. We got very excited about the buffet culture, and we were looking forward to the best deals being offered at different restaurants. We wanted big amounts of food for lesser amounts of money. So when we went to these buffets, we didn't have to cook, we didn't have to do the dishes. We comparatively, paid lesser prices. We got a variety of food. And it felt like a mini victory. And we thought to ourselves that this restaurant really might care about us. But now let's actually reflect back on the situation and see what actually happened. So when we went to these buffets, we put a lot of food on our plates. Food so much that we couldn't finish it. We wasted it. We were served a lower quality of food since this food was being mass produced since it was a buffet. Moreover, we disrupted our digestive systems, because our systems aren't used to having these obscene amounts of food on a regular basis. So in actuality, as not just consumers, but also as individuals, we lost. But the question is, who won here? The restaurants? The restaurant owners? Absolutely, since they were, getting a higher turnover in their revenue. And capitalism won. But do I blame these restaurant owners? Absolutely not. Because if I did, I'd be a hypocrite. I sell ice cream, I sell sugar on a daily basis. These restaurant owners weren't telling you what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat. The onus was directly on you to choose for your own systems, which you so did irresponsibly. Now, to make you guys better relate with this entire situation, let's talk about McDonald's. Since we're births till our middle old ages, we have many interactions with McDonald's. Myself including, we love McDonald's. And it's not because that McDonald's sells us gourmet food, but it's because of three factors that we, as a paradigm, think about food that make McDonald's so successful. McDonald's food is approachable, it's convenient, and it's relatively cheaper. Now we need to understand why aren't healthy food joints doing as well as the fast food culture? And we need to kind of understand the kind of paradigm that we have about food. We as human beings are impulsive. And so fast food, something that is very approachable, and us being impulsive comes directly in sync with each other, and it's a match made in heaven. So why don't these healthy food joints do well? And to understand that better, we have to dig in a little deeper. So for example, if there's not a very high demand for a healthy food joint, then it means that these healthy food joints will also not be supplying a very high number. So hence, they can never achieve an economies of scale. And in turn, they would have to sell their products at a higher price point. And so we then, as consumers, would complain that, getting healthy food is definitely not easy. And we're not wrong to complain about that. But what I'm trying to make you understand is that there needs to be a paradigm shift. These businesses and business owners are just, trying to cover a market gap that we create. This demand is created by us. And this demand is solely dependent on the kind of paradigm that we have about food. To even elaborate further on this, I really want to talk about cereal. I have a few favorites of my own. I really like Rice Krispies, anything to do with chocolate or cinnamon. But today, I want to ask you guys a question, and you can answer me by raising your hand. So the last time you guys went to a grocery store and you picked up your favorite cereal, you assessed the entire box. But how many of you actually turned around the box and read the nutritional chart behind that cereal box? So basically, that's not even 5% of the audience. And that's the problem that we have. I'm just trying to show you to highlight the fact that there is such a lack of informed choices. And that's exactly what the problem is. I lost a lot of weight. And when I was losing my weight, people only had two queries. Either they asked me to, cook diet food for them, or it was to give them a diet plan. And in reply, I only emphasized also on two things. I said, the way forward is moderation, and it's skepticism. It's all about making an informed choice. Because, the diet I was doing for myself wouldn't necessarily help these individuals. But they never really cared about what I said. And later, then, in the bigger picture, I realized why that was. And it's because that they had now hit a stage of panic, right? And so then I have to tell them, reality check. There is no quick fix for it. To make you guys better understand this scenario, let me project or paint a picture for you guys. So there is a healthy food joint, and then there is a clinic where you go see the dietitian. Now, many of us have been to both, but the numbers are way higher at a dietitian's clinic. And that is very reflective of the problem that I'm trying to present in front of you. It takes people a lot to realize that they have been doing it all wrong until they have hit a stage of panic. And I don't understand why that is. When we buy a car, we really care about the quality of fuel that we put in it. We care about its mileage. We care about the performance that that car will give us with that fuel. So why don't we actually care about the fuel that we put into our bodies on a very daily basis? And scientifically it shows the kind of direct impact or the great impact it has on our bodies. And I don't understand this need for us to constantly put ourselves on a pedestal. And with this scenario as well, capitalism wins again. Even if people are seen at dietitians' clinics or they're seen at healthy food joints, which is something that I have established before, that healthy food isn't cheap. So they're now spending obscene amounts of money for healthy food, or they're spending obscene amounts of money with a dietitian. But here also, we never learned what the problem is. What if the dietitian, just flies out of the country? What if the healthy food joint that you so rely on shuts down? Will you then, start from scratch? Will you start from the ground zero? And the way forward shouldn't be that. We shouldn't have to put ourselves on a pedestal. So the idea that I have put in front of you guys, the idea to administer moderation and to make an informed choice, this could be a starting point for that. Maybe we can reflect on this idea and maybe gain some control of our lives, since food is really the epicenter of our lives. And with that, I hope that this was impactful for some of you, and that's my time. And thank you.